So hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about the book of Esther. Esther was one of the first queens that we really talked about in the Bible that is portrayed in a positive way. We've talked about people like Jezebel, and obviously things didn't go very well for her. So there was a king, his name was King Assyrius, he was a Persian king, and he held this huge party. This party lasted for days and days, and he gathered everyone in. Whether they were royal people, whether they weren't royal, everyone was invited to come and to party with him. So with this in mind, he had a queen. This queen's name was Vashti. And so in this time, Vashti was hanging out over this dinner. This dinner and this feast lasted separately for men and for women for over 7 days. And so the women were not to associate with the men during the party, so Queen Vashti was scheduling her own party as the men and King Assyrius were having their own party. So the men were hanging out, drinking and feasting, and the women were also feasting by themselves in a separate room. And as it would happen, King Assyrius calls Vashti, and he says, "Yo, Vashti." And of course, the queen, in that time being subject to the husband, asked him what she could do to help him. She asked, "Why are you summoning me?" And the king, he was very, very drunk on this 7th day of the feast, says, "Come in here to entertain my guest." He asked Queen Vashti to come in and show her beauty, because she was a beautiful, beautiful woman, to all the men that were also drunk at the event. Now, some scholars think that this meant that King Assyrius wanted her to come in completely nude, only wearing her crown. But other people think that she just didn't want to come in and didn't want to associate with the drunk men anyway. So either way, definitely Queen Vashti did not want to associate with that. She said, "No way, King Assyrius. I'm not going to come in with all these drunk men and show off my beauty." So because she disobeyed, she was banished as the queen. So this meant that King Assyrius had to find a new Persian queen. So they had almost a beauty contest. So there were all sorts of different women, young women, beautiful women from all over the kingdom that were brought in. Of course, these were young virgins. And so all these girls brought in from everywhere for the king to choose his favorite, almost like a really odd beauty competition. And one of those women was Esther. Now, Esther was adopted. She was adopted by a relative named Mordecai. And so she was brought in with the many, many women, and then King Assyrius began evaluating them. He kept seeing woman after woman, and he would say, "No, I don't want her." And he asked, "Who will be my queen out of all these women?" And so that's whenever he met Esther. Esther was a beautiful, beautiful lady, and so of course he chose her to be his queen. So everything sounds all fine and good, but the king had a friend, and this friend is shown as being wicked, and he hated the Jewish people. He hated them. And so the king said, "No problem, you hate the Jews, we'll kill all the Jews." Of course, this is a big problem, and Mordecai, Esther's adopted parent, tells her, "Look, you as the queen need to go and talk to the husband." But the queen says, "My husband hasn't talked to me for months, and it's illegal for me to go talk to him unless he asks me. But even if I'm killed, I have to try to save my people." So the king is inside his courtroom, and then the queen comes in, breaking the law at the risk of her own life. She could be killed for doing this. And the king said, "Esther, why are you here?" And so Esther, oddly enough, asked the king to come and have dinner with her. The king offers her mercy, and then he offers her to come and to have dinner with him. At this dinner, Esther reveals that Hamar actually is a villain. She says, "Hamar wants to kill me, he wants to kill my people, and I'm actually a Jew." So everything actually ends up being very well. Mordecai is promoted for his loyalty to the kingdom. The Jews are not killed, Hamar is punished severely, and everything ends up happily ever after. So that's the book of Esther, and thanks for listening.